So morning to all. So take a comfortable seat. Whatever props you need to support you this morning. Before we even come into a mudra that I've chosen for today's practice, just using the palms of your hands, place your palms on the tops of your legs, wherever they're comfortable. Probably if you're sitting cross-legged, it's more the inner part of the leg. And just take the heels of your hands and right into the crease of the hip there where the pelvis and top of the leg meet, and just press down gently and start to slide your palms down towards your knees. Just do that a few times, like stroking down the thighs. So I like this practice when I'm feeling a little congested or digestion is a little off. Maybe you've been eating a bit more sweets or indulgent things. And so just starting to move the prana, the life energy, from the pelvis downward. So we're activating what's called apana vayu, which is the downward flow of prana. And it can feel kind of nice just to ground the hips and thighs here. And then you can pause that whenever you like. And for our mudra this morning, we'll just bring your, you'll bring your thumb to touch your middle and your ring finger. And then the index and pinky extend. This is called apana mudra, which is, again, the wind of prana flowing downward. So you can turn your palms open and bring your hands to your legs again. Fostering some slow exhalations this morning as you connect back into your breath. And just enjoying that subtle flow of in and out. The simplicity of just focusing back on the rhythm of the breath that moves on its own. We follow its current, particularly noting the exhalation this morning. Releasing and relaxing through the shoulders, torso, hips and buttocks, down through the legs. Just this ritual of coming back home to yourself, one moment at a time. And fold your hands together in front of your heart. Bowing your head to your own heart and to each other. Releasing your hands. Okay, let's come up to standing. For props, you'll just need your strap and blocks and a blanket today. Excuse me. Okay. So let's just take your strap to start this morning. You can have it quite long in a bigger loop, or a bigger tail rather than a loop. And just standing with your feet comfortably, maybe pelvis width is good. Holding the strap down with your arms alongside your body, just getting a sense of your body here. Now, where's your weight through your feet? My weight this morning feels a little forward into the balls of the feet, and that's generally where I find myself. So not that I'm trying to shift anything, but just start to make some circles with your pelvis. So going around, emphasizing this crease of the hips here. Remember where we had our heel of the hands. So that's the part, the hip joints that are directing this movement, going around. Imagine that the You could imagine the ball in the socket there of the hip joint is going around, and then take a pause and go the other way. And does it feel like one leg moves more smoothly, or one is a little bit stickier, whatever it is for you, just notice. You're also getting a little bit of rotation around the ankle joint here. Right, and then pausing in the center again. Now, with your hands on the belt about a little wider than shoulders, start to bring the strap up. Maybe you want to adjust the height, or the width rather, of your hands. Bend the elbows a little bit, and then start to just circle the hands around. Now the ribs and torso stay relatively quiet here, and you're moving through the shoulder joint. Just that ball in the socket there. Torso and hips and legs are staying rather quiet, and then pause and go in the other direction. So we can feel just the arms in the shoulder sockets, pretty much. Nothing tensing through the neck here, hopefully. And just going a couple more times around. And then pause here, take the arms back, take a nice inhale, remembering that full exhalation back downward. Bring the arms down. Now take your strap aside and place your hands right on the lower ribs here, and just start to circle the ribs around now. So it's like you're feeling your ribs are rotating, side bending. A little bit of extension, back bend, a little bit of flexion, forward bend, and lateral side bending, switch sides. We're just moving our joints in circular, which can be really nice to complement a lot of sitting or standing or bending over. Okay, and then come back into the center, and then stand at the top of your mat if you're not there already. Bring your hands together at heart center. Feel the breath rise and fall again. And then release the arms. Inhale, stretch up, and hands to the heart. Sit back into chair pose. Take your right foot back into a lunge, high lunge here. Now bring the hands to the hips, the waist. All right, start to press the heel back, and then lift the heel, the back heel. So moving through the foot and ankle. I'd like you to pause in the center, tilt a little forward over the front leg, and then we're going to slowly push off through the back foot. Bring your right knee forward, just pause there, and then press back and touch down. Tilt forward, bring weight into the left foot, bring the right knee forward, and then touch down again. So go at your own pace here. Now, if you're unable to balance on your left foot for whatever reason, what you can do is you can just bring the right toes to touch and then touch back. So you never have to have your right foot really off the floor for very long. Just doing some little lunge pulses. Now, keep in mind your left knee is pointing straight ahead the whole time. All right, so let's do one more. And then pause there, stand all the way up with the right knee bent. Bring the right foot into tree. Take the arms out to the side, palms open to the sky. Feel a little bit of work through the left hip. You can bring the arms wide to a V or out to the side or even up. And then hands to the heart. Now, can you step your right foot back again? Find high lunge one more time. And then pulse. Pelvis flows down and up. Now, the front knee will bend, but we don't want the front knee going over the toes. So feeling some work through the hips and legs, energizing down through the feet. Right, excellent. Tilt forward, step the back foot forward, come into chair pose. And then take the left foot back. High lunge, pausing here, hands at the waist. Tilt forward over the front leg. Now peek down at your front leg. Is the right knee falling inward? If so, as you do these repetitions of the leg coming forward and back, you might want to keep your right hand on the outside of the right thigh just to help secure that right leg bone. Okay, so we're going to tilt forward, push off the back foot, bring the knee in, and then touch back. Again, you can go at your own pace. It does not have to be rushed. We're cultivating some downward flow of prana this morning. Working through the legs. Now the front knee always stays behind the toes in this variation. Ooh, this side's harder. Remember, you can tap your back toes forward and back. All right, one more time. And then stay with the knee floating. Straight in the right leg, come into tree pose. Left foot touches the inner leg. Bring the arms out to the side, palms open. And then maybe you can start to reach the arms up and feel the ribs, the shoulder blades as you're lifting the arms like wings. Hands to the heart. Let's step the left foot back into your lunge again. And then we'll just pulse a few times. So really get a sense of this right hip crease so that you're not just pushing the knee forward. We want to harmonize the joints here, knees and hips. All right, now let's tilt forward and bring the left foot forward, land in Utkatasana, chair pose. Take the arms behind the back, interlace the fingers, and then start to fold your torso towards the thighs, taking the hands up towards the sky or keeping the hands towards the lower back. Release your hands to the earth. Step your right foot back into lunge. You can certainly have blocks under your hands here. Especially, in the morning, there's stiffness that's present. And, all the different foods can have an effect on your mobility that you might enjoy along the way during the holidays. So just be here, hands on the blocks, very, very attuned to the weight coming in through the feet and legs versus just pouring the weight down into your hands. All right, now let's turn and ground the right heel. So you're turning the right thigh and hip out to the right. And then rise up, sweep the arms up into warrior two. And tilt out over the front leg, Parsvakonasana. Side angle, stretching the top arm along the ear or up to the sky. Back up through Vira 2 here. Maybe go into reverse warrior a little bit. Opening up the front side of the body and then cartwheel the hands back down to your blocks. Bring your back heel off the floor so the pelvis faces forward. And then step the back foot to the front foot. Bow over your legs. Take your left foot back into lunge. Back leg is fairly straight here. And again, just settling in, maybe feeling your breath in the back body. Just acknowledging your feet are on the earth, acknowledging the ground. You turn and ground the left heel, but also incorporate that rotation through the left thigh, left pelvis turning out, rise up. I'm going to stay with my back to you for a moment here. Virabhadrasana 2. And tilt forward, Parsvakonasana, side angle. And rising back up to warrior 2. Take a little reverse warrior if you like. Nice breath in, and then cartwheel the hands down to the floor. Come back to the ball of the back foot. Set the back knee down. Bring the right foot back. Coming onto your hands and knees. Now you can be on blocks under your hands if you like. That gives a little bit of length to the arms. We're going to extend the right leg back. Keep the left knee down. And then bring the right knee in towards the belly and round the back into cat. And then extend and reach through the right leg. And again, round, bringing the knee in. And reach on your breath. And round in. Do 2 more like this. Just follow your breath this morning. And then the next time the leg extends out, we'll take it out slowly to the right side. Bring the inner edge of the foot down. Let's shift back. Good morning to the inner thighs here. You can walk the blocks or hands forward if you like. Now see if you can bring your hips right over the back knee, so perpendicular to the floor, your thighs are. Lift the right foot up, sweep it back behind you, and then bring the right knee to the earth again. Take the left leg back, and then knee towards the belly, round. So nice exhale when you're bringing the knee in, and then an inhale when you're extending. And find that rhythm there. It really connects to your breath. I'm going to do one more. Keeping the leg floating, take it out to the left and inside edge of the left foot down, shifting back, changing the angle of the hip, changes the stretch of the muscles here. So we're getting a little inner thigh, slow breath. Now can you come back through center, hips over the knee, and then float the left leg up off the floor as you carry it back to the extension behind you, and then bring the left knee back to the earth. Take the blocks aside. Down into your forearms, if you would. Turn your palms open to the sky, so the back of the hands are on the floor. Elbows are under the shoulders, and start to drift yourself backwards. So we're stretching out through the side body, keeping the fingers, or rather the thumbs, rolling towards the floor as best you can without increasing tension. And then if it's okay, let the head just go. Just let your head, crown of the head, release towards the ground. So the back of the neck is relaxed. One more nice breath up into the rib cage. And then as you exhale, turn the palms back to the floor and straighten the arms. Coming into downward dog now. Stretch back through the hips. Pushing down through the feet, pedaling the heels. Rise up onto the toes, come forward into plank pose. Back into down dog. Twice more, using the wave of the breath here. Plank and down dog. And the next time you come into plank, lower down to the floor, all the way to the front of the body. And take the arms straight alongside your legs here, palms facing each other. Lift into locust, lift the arms and legs if you like. Feel the contraction through the back body, just enough this morning. And lower back down. And again, floating up. Keep the gaze soft. Energizing through the legs and the prana flowing down from pelvis through legs. One more time, lower down, and then rise up, last one here. And release back down. All right, now from this position, just roll onto your left side. You can have a block under your head. I'm just gonna remove my mic. And you can have a block, or you can just put your left arm underneath your head like a little pillow is fine. Keeping both knees bent, initially stacking the legs. Then extend the right leg so it's floating in line with your pelvis here. You can put your right hand right at the top of on the side of the pelvis here. And we're going to start to circle the bottom, or the right leg rather, the top leg. Just stirring. Think stirring the leg in the pelvis. Does it feel smooth? Does it feel like it's a complete circle, or are there little sharp edges there? Slowing down around those places that feel a little sticky. In fact, the slower you go, really the more you're asking of the muscles. Let's switch directions. Of course, fast movement is beneficial as well. But let's just keep this kind of slow and controlled here. All right, now we're going to stack the knees again together. Keep the inner edges of the feet together and open up the top leg. So classic clam shells here. Lower the knees together and then open the knees. Now here, we're just looking for the pelvis to stay quiet. We're not letting it roll backwards. But do notice if there's tension growing through the torso or the upper part of the body, because oftentimes we unconsciously brace when we do these kind of movements in the areas that neighbor the hips but aren't needed. So just noticing if that's your pattern there unconsciously. Relaxing as best you can as you're doing these little clams here. All right, so go ahead and relax the legs. And then just briefly take your right arm to the sky and start to take a little twist in the upper body. Now you can let your right arm flow back, opening up the chest, feeling the breath now nice into the rib cage. And then rolling back to center. Let's bring the hand down and we'll just turn around to the right side. However you want to do that. Again, you can have a block under your head. I'm choosing just an arm for a pillow here. Bring your hips stacked and your knees bent. Hand on the side of the pelvis and extend the left leg. And we'll just start to do those circles. Now you can explore wherever you want to have your left hand. Like you might notice, oh, if my hand is at my sacrum and I do these circles, I can feel my lower back arching and rounding slightly. Now, even that, right, can be a sign that there's too big of a movement and then the sacrum has to get involved here. So we really want just this leg in the hip socket. So the more we can focus on just the leg stirring around and not involving the pelvis, the better we're getting hip connection. So then I'm going to switch directions. And again, slowing it down, being curious, so you're not just knocking off another set of leg circles, right? Just being with your body. Slow and conscious. Feel your body here. All right, and then bring the legs bent, knees touch here, and then clam shells. Now, another compensation pattern that often shows up in these clams, not only is bracing in the upper body, but breath holding. So see if your breath wants to get static. And just keep a sense of easy breath. Don't have to do a million of these. And again, just the leg moving in the pelvis here. Just a few more like this. You might be going slower than me or faster. That's okay. Whew, this side is definitely talking to me now. All right, let's rest the legs. Take the left arm to the sky. Now start to drift the left hand back and turn to a little twist here. Just as much as feels good. Rotating through the rib cage. Letting the head follow and reach through the elbow. A little bit here. Nice breath in. And then roll back to center. Bring your arm down. And then simply roll onto the body. Taking your block, if you have it, and place it between your upper and thighs. Get a little outer hip now. Let's briefly here. Stand your feet so your knees are towards the sky. Feel the block right up towards the pelvis. Just gently press your legs into the belt, or into the block rather, and then release. So you're not going to let the block drop out, of course. Just do these little pulses. So hug the block and relax. Hug the block and relax. So we're just the adductors, just those inner thighs. If you feel you're gripping your glutes or your abdomen, just noticing that. See if you can just do the adductors, just those inner thighs. Feet are relaxed, breath is flowing. Hug and release just a few more times. Feel that nice work through the inner thighs. All right, last one, squeeze and release. And then you can either take the block under your pelvis for our final few moments together if you want to have a little supported bridge pose. Or if you're not wanting that this morning, you can take your two blocks and place them on the outsides of your thighs with the soles of the feet together in Supta Baddha Konasana. So choose which one you'd like. So block under the pelvis or on the outsides of the legs. Rest your hands right at your mid-torso. Feeling breath move on its own. But keeping a connection to your exhale this morning. The Apana Vayu, the downward flow of prana. Releasing. And just helping to move stagnancy, tightness, restriction. It's like when a pond is completely steady and there's just no movement there. And then you just get a little bit of churning. Things start to bubble. And then the flow returns. So we're just getting the flow back with the breath and the legs. This easy breathing. And then we'll slowly, if you're on the block, if your block is underneath you, take the block away. Holding then one knee in each hand. And just stir the knees around a little. Massaging out the sacrum, lower back. And in your own time, as you feel ready, you can roll to one side. Roll your way back up to sitting again.